In today's video, we will see this form IMM 0150E, which is detail of police service. If you have ever served in police, then you will have to fill this form and submit along with your application when you are coming to Canada. So we'll get to see the entire detail in this video, and make sure if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. There are many other free resources which has been put up and available for you to go and see how a particular form is done. And also check out the link in the description. That's where all the links will be put up. And in addition, my website Canada Tried and Tested, here I have organized everything I have done so far and can go and find anything which is of your interest. So do check out the website. Now, without wasting much time, where to find this form? This is the link to the website. The link will be there in the description. Details of police service IMM 0150, which you can download here. And to download, always right click and then save as. Don't open this in the browser, you might get error. So once you have downloaded and then you open this with Acrobat Reader, this will open. In case you don't have Acrobat Reader, this is the link to the website and you can go and download this Acrobat Reader. Free version will allow you to do all your work. So make sure you have this Acrobat Reader installed. If not, get it installed before you start. Now, once you open this document, this is how the document looks. Even before you start to fill this application, make sure you have your document such as service certificate in case you have been given during your police service, which confirms the period of service, the rank held, and any commendation which you have received. If you have a clearance certificate, usually some organizations say as no objection certificate, which certifies that there is no pending disciplinary or legal action against you. If you have that, keep that handy. That will go as a additional attachment document. Then you have your person record, which are basically copies of person record, which is maintained by the police, which may include your training certificate, any performance evaluation, or it's a administrative document, which most of the organization give. And in case you have any identification card, badge, or any other official credential which is being issued. So have this in hand and make sure whatever is there on the record matches with what you're entering. So that brings in the consistency with what is getting filled. And in case the documents what you have is in a vernacular language, that is other than English or French, make sure you are getting that translated and you're uploading along with this document. So to save some time, I have pre-filled certain detail and certain detail I will show you as we go ahead with the video. So the more information, the more accurate information and documents as attachment you send, it becomes easy for the IRCC representative to go and look at the details, interpret and make decisions. So make sure you're giving them adequate information, correct information for your process to happen in a smooth way. So in all probability, you might have questions coming back to ask for some more information, which you must be prepared to answer, and most of them will be out of this what you're filling. So first and foremost, don't make mistake of leaving any gap in between the start date and end date. So if a start date is shown here and end date is shown here, you see here 28 February 2006, next date has to start immediately after this date. So there has to be no gap. If there is a gap, you have to enter the dates and you have to mention the gap if it was not a service. For example, if you were on a study leave, you will enter the detail and you will mention your rank, your title, and you will mention this as mandatory or voluntary. Then in your duties, you can mention that you were on a study leave for the duration. And then during study leave, your commanding officer would still remain because you would still be part of the organization even when you're doing your studies, and your reporting would be the person. So I don't have to tell this, you know better. You make sure that every single detail is filled here. So I'm just giving a basic structure. So if you have started with your training, then you mention that as your first date. So here the person started with training. In some countries, it may have a different title. So you'll have to mention if there is a difference in title or whatever that name is. And as I said, if it is in vernacular language, please use the letter of explanation. I have made a separate video. The letter of explanation is one document where you can go and download the information which you think will make it easy and make it accurate to describe your situation. So, for example, here the title is constable. In some places, instead of constable, it is called, for example, Sipai. So you can go and use the letter of explanation to explain that Sipai in the local language is constable. So you draw parlance. That way you're covering every detail what is required. Then the duties, again, you would know the duties. I have just entered for you to see how you can give information, give adequate information which matches with your record and make it consistent. So the duties are written when you're in training. You're basically training for physical fitness, academic instruction, defensive tactics, emergency response, practical skills, role playing and scenarios, and field training. If there are any more to add, align with the training what you have gone. And then the commanding officer's rank and name that gets mentioned. Then your name of unit, role of unit. Whenever you're filling this record, make sure you're reading all that is listed here. So for example, if more space is required, please attach additional pages. So you can attach additional pages when you have to fill the form, and don't use any abbreviation or acronyms. So that is why I said, in case you have to explain something, use the letter of explanation. Don't leave it to the imagination, as the acronym or terminologies what you use in a particular country may not be relevant to Canada. So try to give as much as information as possible. Then the name of unit and role of unit. So you have to include level of jurisdiction, for example, municipal, provincial, federal, military, etc. I've just given an example. Make sure you are giving as per the requirement what is asked here. The unit location, again, I've just entered a GCS address. Make sure you are giving the right address here, region, town, city, country, and give a complete address, including the PIN code. So make sure if it is PIN code or zip code, that is also mentioned here completely. And then number of people you supervised. If you have not supervised, just mention not supervised as 0. And then once you're getting out of training, what your rank was, that you mention, and indicate date of promotion. So here, for example, promoted to the rank of 1st March. So you see here 1st March 2006 on completion of basic training. What was the rank or title? Constable. If it was different, you enter that. And mandatory or voluntary. So in India, it's not a mandatory training. I'm giving an example of India. So there people volunteer for a police force. That's why I've shown voluntary here. Then your duties. This duty space, if I enter, you will not be able to see how that is written. So I have written this on a Word document. And this is an example. Again, you try to give as much as detail as possible in your detailed section. So here, constable's duty, patrolling and surveillance, law enforcement, emergency response, investigative support, public assistance, and all those details. What is? So this you can take a snapshot, but make sure it is yours and you are giving the correct information. This is just for example. If you have served for long period, you will have much more information. So you can just press this and additional boxes will open here. So we come down to the next page you see here, and as you keep filling, you can keep adding. You can do that part. And then during the course of your service, did you ever participate, including in support function in arrest, detention, or interrogation? If you have not done, you write not applicable here. One thing to remember is that if you're writing not applicable, make sure to use letter of explanation to give more context. You can give context here also. If you were a musician, for example, you don't usually get involved because you are only focusing on music. Make sure you are explaining that so that they have adequate information what is required. And if you have been part of any arrest, detention, interrogation, make sure you are including that. It is consistent with what the information is there on that record, because there has to be a consistency in what you are saying. So similarly, during the course of service where you're involved in combat operation, so if you are involved, you will have to mention the operation, location, unit role, etc., etc. If not, just write not applicable. Many of the police forces around the world, they go on United Nations role and so on. So if you have been part of that, again, you can mention that and use the letter of explanation. Add to that. Medals and awards, again, you have to indicate name of the medal, award, date and reason. So you would have your official document where it would be mentioned, fill that part, and then comes the specialized training, what you have gone through. That again has to be type of training, location, date. So if you feel that this space is not adequate, you can add a page and give that in more detail, and that's going to make easy for the IRCC representative have all the information what is required. In case you want to take a snapshot of this and want to bring this as text format, come to the snipping tool. You can find from the start button if you type snipping tool and then click new and then select this part. Okay, once you have selected this, you see here this is the text action. So now you can copy all the text and then you can copy this to a Word document and you will get some idea of how to fill in the detail. Then the last part, which is to certify that the information is complete, accurate and factual. So go through the other details, and this is where you will do your signature. Best way to do is take a printout of form once everything is complete, do a signature, and if you have letter of explanation or any other document, make sure you make that into one single document and upload in the police upload section, and also include the letter of explanation in the letter of explanation section so that you're not missing out in any of these spaces. So that brings end to this video. I hope you like the video. Please let me know through your comment. Do subscribe. There are other videos which you can check out, and thanks for watching.